I have reached a point where I'm not having as much fun as I used to making YouTube videos. And that is a problem. With all these new things that I'm trying to do on the Minecraft SMP, trying to just do stuff on there that's actually useful or contributing, or doing my own things on my own Minecraft world that I may or may not release to the public. That release to the public being I'm gonna show you guys it. Um, and other stuff like stuff that's not even Minecraft related. That FNF versus Imposter Among Us series that I haven't even completed yet. I said I was gonna complete it, but I never completed it. But yet here I am, not having fun because of all of this stuff. And it's really been taking down. This is not what being a YouTuber is supposed to be. I get more burnt out this way the more I try to do certain things just because I see the YouTube as a place for content. But that's not what it's supposed to be. What it's supposed to be is a place where I can upload things to have fun. But back then, I wasn't able to have fun because I was trying to have or look for these certain things to try to get clout, essentially. And the thing about this is that back then, I didn't have the tools necessary for being a YouTuber. I didn't know what softwares to edit with, or what softwares to even make the YouTube videos to begin with. And that's not how any average YouTuber would start off with. Usually the average YouTuber would see these tools, will have these tools and be like, "Hey, I want to experiment with that. What can I do with this or that?" And honestly, I've thought about that a lot. And now I'm thinking, I do now have these resources. I have OBS, I have CapCut, I have editing softwares, I have filming softwares, I have tripods. So why don't I just have fun for a YouTube video? Think of something that I want to do. And what I have wanted to do for a long time is get back to Redstone. There's a lot of new Redstone materials that I straight up have not learned because I am too busy with stuff that I've just been procrastinating with rather than actually having fun in Minecraft. So, I'm going to take a look at some redstone today. So the first thing I want to use for this thing, let's just start off with a redstone door. I want to build a redstone door, but one thing that I've never learned that would be really useful for me would be a redstone torch key. And I really want to learn how to make that. So off to learning that I go. So I just looked up how to make a torch key. And of course, the first thing I see is Mumbo Frickin' Jumbo. 9 years ago. Holy crap. So immediately just looking at it right here, this is all I need to really just make this thing. So of course what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna immediately go into this thing with a flush piston door design. It's not gonna be anything too fancy. So I'm thinking that I have the flush piston door right here, and then I'm gonna have the mechanism right over there to open the damn thing. So, first things first, I think what I'm going to do is actually make the flush piston door, which I've made a few of these things in my time. What I need to do is first set up a layout, which this is not a good layout, let me tell you, but it will work for the project. I would want two pistons right here, and then it is going to push this piston forward, which will then push the dirt block over here, and then I also want that to be covered up as well. So, first things first, I need to figure out how I'm going to push these two pistons up front. Now, I'm not going to lie, I kind of forgot how to make some of these things, so just bear with me here. I think easily what I could do is set a repeater right over here, and then, yeah, it pushes both of them. Hopefully both of them? Yes, both of them. So now I know where to put the input for this thing. Can I use redstone dust for this? Yes. Yes, I can. Okay. From the side, I don't think this actually work. Okay, yeah, it doesn't work because the bottom piston is the only one that's actually working. So that's a bit sad. I'm gonna keep a repeater right here for that. So with this one firing first, I would then want to do this one next. So having these things powered for a second so that we have a bit of playroom, we need to figure out how to activate this one from over here. And I think it's going to be a very similar situation where we have the repeater facing it and then have some of the wiring go around over here. So now I would have this one delayed a little bit. And so now, if we have both of these set up the way I want it to, we can then oh wait, no, I'm just dumb. Okay. So no. Maybe this one has to be done last? Yes, that is the case. So it doesn't matter if this one is done after. It's only going to be powered until after it's come up over here, which means that this one can just be the same. However, when it matters a lot more when it's coming backwards, which is why this one has to be powered first. So let's go and make this thing more compact. Seems like the most compact design we're ever going to get. Nah, I'm just kidding. So just like this makes it a much easier design to work with. So placing a torch right over here. There we go. So it's much more easier to look at on the eyes. So yeah, this is gonna work. Though I do have to remember to set the timings for these and then test it before this thing ends up breaking. Okay. It would be very sad if this thing just broke immediately. Now we can finally start work on the redstone torch key. So underneath it, we're of course going to need a piston, and then we're going to need to have this thing activated until we have the piston that this redstone torch key is activating under here gets unretracted. So how are we going to do this? I'm going to have to look at the demonstration that we had for us. Here we go. Oh, right. I forgot. We had redstone given to us. I completely forgot about the redstone. So we need something going on like this. This piston would be facing towards that. And so now it doesn't work. I guess redstone has changed a little bit. Oh no, I'm just dumb. No, that's like a one tick. Do I need a delay? I need a delay for this thing. So go and reset the system and then there we go. Yes, I did it. So we need to have a bit of a delay. And then I want this to see if I can do this at the shortest delay. Yes, I can. So, so the whole system breaks when it's at 1 tick. But when it's at 2 ticks, we seem to be just fine. Yes. And then I do also realize that I can do this on any block. However, for now, I'm just not gonna. How am I gonna do this? Should I just grab an input from the redstone block? God damn it, dude. Get out of the way, you water. I don't think I can grab any output from these two over here, which means I think I have to grab it from the redstone block. So if we do something like this, or reroute it over here and then do something like this, will something like this work? It seems to be working for now. Kind of, yes. How do I do like an input delay? I think Mumbo might have a solution for that. So in order to get over here, we have to be like really quick about it, which is not, it's not really possible. Yeah, no. So again, with how the heck are we going to do a delay for this thing? I feel like it would be better if we just have... Okay, yeah. So if we just have a lot better, like, of access to this, it would be a lot more possible. Because we are able to just drop through this with the time that we have right now. It's just out of reach, so we don't have enough time. So if we have a block more like this, then that would do a lot better. But for now, I'm happy with this design. So I guess I can see, I guess I should see how I can utilize this. Because this is very seamless. Just make sure I cover up everything. Otherwise it's not very seamless. I think what I should have done is go to like a redstone testing world, but this is very hidden for now. I can appreciate this. So I just looked up input delays in Minecraft, and I found a simple pulse extenders for Minecraft 1.20. I think pulse extenders are what I was looking for. And of course, we have something from Mumbo from even longer ago. Look at this, 11 years ago. I don't know why, but I accidentally just cut off the recording. But that is exactly what I'm looking for. Like, seriously, exactly what I'm looking for to upgrade these designs. Okay, so this is exactly what I was looking for. I'm quite interested in the designs that come further. However, I'm also thinking that I might be able to just make my own design. Though again, this is from like 11 years ago, so this could very easily just straight up not work. So here's a bit of a proof of concept. So the button goes right here. We have an input right here, but at the very same time, we have this part over here. Can you get out of here? We have this part over here that it just extends it a little bit, and then this redstone dust on top. Yeah, it still works. I do want these to be just a little bit lower. Okay, so I don't think this button is going to be a bit of a problem because that's what's mostly been delaying it for longer than what I've wanted it to be. But I'm thinking, can I input this in with redstone? Yes, I can. Yeah, we're going to have no problem like speeding up this process. So let's go and get rid of this, and let's see if we can make a new design or a new piston door with this in mind, with a much more flattened out of an area because that other area just didn't really work too well. Okay, so this time I'm thinking of a 4x4 flush piston door, and yeah, let's get started by mining out some area. So for first things first, for both of these, we're definitely going to want our inputs to go in first. Go and activate these. I still don't know how to activate freaking redstone. I need a better way of activating redstone, but this works now. We're good. Repeat the same thing on the other side. This also works. Okay, great. And so now we also want repeaters working on both of the sides of these pistons just over here. So now it's working on both sides, and then we want these to be delayed by a little bit. I do wonder, am I able to activate these things? No, okay. I was a little worried that these things were going to go off because of this redstone over here, but it's a good thing that they're not, because then we can make this much more compact by just getting rid of those. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go around this and replace all of this with yellow wiring. So on this yellow wiring, we have these repeaters that are powering these pistons over here. And on the blue wiring, we have the repeaters that are powering these pistons over here. Now, time for a bit of a proof of concept just to make sure all of this works. It does. Now, does it work going out? No, I think I need more over here. So a bit more delay with these pistons might have been what's needed. Yep, that's exactly what was needed. So now I'm gonna just make sure that a bit of space is mined out down here, and also replace what's under here with also yellow wiring. Okay, so this isn't looking too bad, and just testing it a couple of times. So cool. This flush piston door works just fine. Now I do want to cover it up just a little bit because, yeah. Now, one thing that I do actually wonder is, can I activate these things through a block? It does. You can. Okay. So I can just completely cover this up. Though I do want to see if I can get a much more compact way of doing it. Can I do... Oh, wait. Uh-oh. This thing is completely powered on, and it's not powering off for some reason. Okay, so... This thing was transferring a loop. It was in a loop because this dirt was here, it was also transferring power back over here. This gives me an idea, though. Can I just run repeaters straight into this block right here, and then it will give a redstone output over here into the piston block? The answer is yes. So if I do something like this, or not this. So if I set something up like this on both sides, I can then activate this, and it's not... Why is it not going on the other side? Oh, I need to hook these up to both sides, otherwise it's not gonna work. So I guess the best order of action is to have something going on like this. So that way, like, neither of them are activated activating in a loop. So activating it like right here, it works just fine. There we go. Yeah, it's working just fine. No like locking patterns and whatnot, which is exactly what I was worried about. So now it's time for the actual locking mechanism. So just a bit of area mined out over here. I want the key to go right there, which means that we would want the piston right here, and then under it we would have a repeater, and then our redstone. Oh, that's not gonna work. I don't think the piston should be able to do that. It might be able to do that, but we'll see. So this thing gets pushed upwards, which is good, because now oh, wait a minute. What? Really? So we move this to the side just a little bit, and I also want to make sure that I patch this part up so that mobs don't spawn in here. It works! Yes! First try. Kind of. So, this worked. Okay, so yeah, this definitely works. So now we just need to patch this thing up a little bit, and hopefully it will just be fine. I do need to make sure that I don't forget where that is. Okay, cool. So this thing is entirely covered up, kind of. I do still need to make the surface look a bit prettier, but cool. This entire thing is set up, and now... Right, I completely forgot about the pulse extenders. The whole reason why I made this for the pulse extenders is the one thing that I completely forget to do. So instead of doing it over here like I planned, because I completely forgot about this, I'm going to do it over here and just have this whole thing blend into the mountain. Okay, so now what I just need to do is completely rebuild this entire thing. So this thing is currently active, but for some reason the piston isn't active. Oh, I see what's wrong. Okay, so we need to move this entire thing to the side just a little bit. There's no, like, we have to have it in this position or just this single position. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Multiple redos were made, but I have hope inside of this design that it will work. Totally first try. There we go. So it does work. Yes. So when this thing is turned off, it's a lot slower. So what I want to do is essentially slow it down. And this is what I thought of doing it. But then I realized the flaw inside of this system. Oh gosh, this is gonna be a hurty in the head. Okay, so I guess this entire system wasn't really necessary because it just straight up doesn't work. It doesn't extend the amount of time that this thing is open for. So I have to think of like another method to use for this. So I guess immediately this thing is powered off. Yeah, so that works just fine. And then what I do is I'd have 2 ticks. But then that doesn't turn off. Why? I'm so confused, dude. How do I hold it in the off position? Do I have to look at more at that tutorial? So, how do I keep it towards it's in almost the off position for a certain set amount of time? Do I have like an on-off switch? So in this case, I guess what I'd want to do is have it towards it's like that, except, no, but that breaks the entire system. Oh my god, how do I make like a digital on-off switch? I guess with the new blocks, I can use like a copper bulb. Does this output a redstone source at all? Yes, okay. Shit. Oh my god, I just figured it out with new resources. So I guess a copper bulb is supposed to be like the more like the less complicated way of an on-off switch. So I'm glad I picked up the on like the copper bulb as the on-off switch. I was inclined not to. So with this entirely filled in and a figurement out of the new way to use copper bulbs, I finally have a mechanism that works. Yes. So you know what? I'm gonna hop into a redstone testing world. Okay, cool. So we are inside of a redstone testing world where I forgot to turn the lava pools off, but that's just fine. Let's go and get started. So I'm inside of the redstone testing world. I was trying to recreate the the thing you guys saw before, except I'm actually just gonna have it as like an actual test instead of an actual build. And I just got an idea. What if we, instead of having these right here, we instead tried to power these from over here as well? Okay, so for simplicity's sake, we're back onto the old design simply just because I didn't want to have to deal with a headache while also working on something else. You know what else I realize? I can power these things from the bottom if I really want to. So with the entire mechanism built up, it looks a little something like this. We kind of have to rely on the redstone torches to power what's at the bottom. But the copper bulb works just fine. And I forgot to mention, yeah, I completely forgot what I was supposed to do. Why I completely brought this into the redstone testing world. So the real challenge that I face here with this design is where I'm going to put this contraption right here. Because if I want this thing snugged right up over here, then that's going to cause a few redstone overlap issues. So I gotta think of a way to fix that. Okay, never mind. So I just built the contraption right here, and there are a lot less like overlapping problems because there were no overlapping problems, which is very strange. Now, the only thing that I need to figure out now is how I'm gonna connect this thing together. It's connected like that, but it's not gonna be for a while. And there's even the fact that I need to connect this to a copper bulb. So, this might be a little bit weird. So one of the problems that I noticed is that because this, like, I was trying to think of a design where this block, like, essentially isn't in the way, so it drops down a little bit. However, this thing completely goes down when when that thing is just up. So I'm thinking now with something a little bit more like this, it does work. However, now we face the issue with the redstone block again. And then also to prevent it from going over here before it's supposed to, I just threw a block right down. Oh, I just got an idea. Okay, take all this down. Take all of this down. What if, really hear me out on this, what if we use an observer? Take an observer, put it right there, and then put this where the redstone is supposed to be. Really? Wait, what? Why does the observer block communication? Okay, you know what? It doesn't matter. What does matter is that it still can help us by detecting this right here. Even if it's not in the way that we need it to. So I'm thinking the best place for this is going to be right here, and then we have a bit of redstone going down over here. Make sure that it doesn't connect to other parts that we don't want it to. Now, there's an output that leads over here. Oh, I got rid of my redstone torches. So now, yes, okay. So what I assume what I can do is also have this power some kind of redstone down here. No. This, okay, so this is going to be a bit of a problem. So, for whatever reason, this observer doesn't stop it from going downwards, which is very, very weird. I guess what I should do is probably move the observer just a little bit. So, actually, what if I rotate it? Does rotating it help at all? Facing up, does it only face one position? It only faces one position facing up. Okay, good to know. But we put a block right there. And then we have the observer, and then it just reroutes over here. We can get a redstone output down over here. Yes, the problem... Okay, there is a problem here. It gives out 2 pulses. Actually, what if I just cut out everything? Yeah. This works just fine. What am I thinking? I've done so much work when I could just really... When I really could have just put the copper bulb right there. So I can even put it, like, right here. Maybe not, actually. Can I? Oh, I can. Okay, yeah, I can put it right there. Good to know. And so now I would just have the comparators going out like this. Just make sure that this doesn't clog up anywhere else. Does this work? Yes, it does. Kind of. What's going on here? It's making a repeated connection somewhere. Where's the red? Oh. Oh, this piece right here is lighting up these pieces of redstone. Okay. So I need to, like, keep it away from this repeater right here. Because as soon as I remove that, that's when everything's going wrong. So the redstone is required to get this thing going. We cannot exactly move that. Actually, we might not be able to use repeaters now that... Oh, wait, no, we can use one repeater. We can use one. So this is our one repeater. Because we have a repeater on this side, we have a repeater on that side, and then this should work. There we go. It works! Yes, it works. My contraption actually works. Yeah, that is not every day where that happens. Holy crap. Oh my god. It's been so long since I've built anything like this. Let alone just have this thing sticking out the side of this thing. I highly doubt I'm not the first person to build this type of thing. But I'm really proud of what I've managed to do here. And the best part is that it's as compact as possible. So I can also do stuff like see how much of this I can actually cover up. And then this side over here is actually going to be of like the mountain range, I guess. Because I'm building this into a hill. Then this, oops. This is where I'm going to be putting it. And then it just shows up right next to it. So I guess now what I do is I try to build this inside of an actual Minecraft world. Try to recreate this now that I have a better idea of what I'm supposed to be doing. And look, you would never be able to tell where it is. And look, you would never be able to tell where it is. Heck yes, dude. I did that. I did that. Look at this beauty. How did I manage to do this? I have no idea, but I did. And I'm proud of myself for it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. I certainly did, because that's what this episode was entirely about. Me wanting to do the most stupidest things. And my stupid thing isn't all that stupid. You need to be an intellectual to work with redstone. And I'm really glad with what I've managed to do. Learn, and more learning, And look, I even made what I always wanted to make, a freaking torch key system. I didn't know how to do that, but now I did. And I even added some of my own artistic or technological takes on this, rather than having one of those classical like on-off switches inside of like a redstone mechanical way, rather than just a lever. I instead made my own way to make that on-off switch. I mean, don't get me wrong. This definitely was intended inside of the game for this to be this block right here to be the intended way to make like an on-off switch in a more compacted way. But like honestly, I still thought of that as like the first thing. I am proud of myself for what I've managed to do with this little thing, and it's so much more compact, dude. I like, dude, it's so much more compact and it's so much more complex, and I absolutely love it. And I really want to become a Redstone YouTuber, but also, I also kind of don't want that hassle to constantly be coming up with new technological inventions. But on that note, I hope you guys enjoyed. I certainly did, and I'll see you guys next time.